So Pearl Rimmer is the Director of Research and Development at Boost Child and Youth Advocacy Center. She is one of, again, leader in the nonprofit and child abuse, child education sector in Canada. She designs training for community service providers. She developed the training for the high-risk home visiting programs and child abuse training at Boost. She is currently coordinating the national webinar series to build capacity for CYACs. She has been in the sector for 30 years. Like everyone presenting in the webinar today are very, very experienced in the field of childcare, child abuse, children mental health, instructor, research coordinator. Pearl was the person who designed the very first child abuse course to be offered in the early childhood education program in Ontario and co-authored the first Canadian textbook on child abuse. She has been, as she will share, conducting all these webinars. I'm very, very happy to work with Pearl over the last, couple of years with the webinars and before that on the live conference. So thank you, Pearl.
Thank you, Lola, for the introduction. Can everybody see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, it is there.
Perfect. So I'm going to start by just putting this into context to let you know what we do at Boost Child and Youth Advocacy Centers and a brief description of what a Child and Youth Advocacy Center is. So we're a community-based agency, and everything we do revolves around eliminating abuse and violence in the lives of children, youth, and their families. So all our programs and services are meant to provide support to children and youth who've experienced abuse, who are at risk of abuse, and to obviously to support their families and the community. We're a not-for-profit charitable organization. We have a board of directors, and we've been in the city for over 38 years, although we do provide service in other areas. So a child advocacy center or child and youth advocacy center, it's just different names that people use for the same thing. There are two main things. There are services that provide a coordinated multidisciplinary team approach to all aspects of child abuse: investigation, prosecution, treatment, and prevention. There are many different models, which I don't have time to go into, but multidisciplinary teams are made up of essentially all of the players below, a combination, or all of them depending on the center. So police, child protection, medical services, mental health and counseling services, advocacy support, and court support. So multidisciplinary teams is the first piece, and second is that there's a comfortable child-friendly setting so that clients who come feel physically safe, they feel emotionally safe, and the child is always at the center of absolutely everything that a CYAC will do. We're very lucky. In addition to all of those specialists, we also have facility dogs who actually play a huge role, and we have 3 for the offices that we have. I'm going to briefly tell you what we do at Boost CYAC, because the context I think is important before I talk about the role that multi-languages and Kudo have played. So we have a large public education program. The Making a Difference is for adults. We design and deliver training. We have a Train the Trainer. We've trained tens of thousands of people, and we have a lot of partnerships with other organizations, and we're about to launch our own online learning center. Then we have primary prevention programs for kids, all the way from junior kindergarten right through to grade 8. So the PowerPoint will be available to you, so you'll be able to see those. We have an assessment-directed therapy program. So in this program, the clinical staff provide support to children and youth who've experienced abuse or violence and their families. It's strength-based, child-centered, trauma-informed. Actually, our whole agency is trauma-informed, and they conduct assessments and treatment. And we also offer group programs for caregivers and art therapy groups for children. One of the unique group programs that we have partnerships with is a trauma-informed dance intervention, hip-hop dance intervention, and you can see there's research going on and all the partners involved in that, including the funding by the Public Health Agency of Canada. The other unique piece that we have in Ontario has a provincial strategy to protect children from sexual exploitation and abuse on the internet. So it's a very coordinated province-wide approach that's overseen by the Ontario Provincial Police. As part of that, there is an internet child exploitation counseling, referral, and funding program that the Ministry of the Attorney General, which is provincial, has established. Boost CYAC administers that program, and it supports children and youth and their family members where exploitation has involved technology. So we match up victims everywhere in Ontario with treatment providers, and there's funding that's provided. Then we have the Child Victim Witness Support Program, and this program assists and advocates for children and youth who are victims and or witnesses in any kind of criminal case. So individual support, we call it the court prep court prep sessions are offered individually to children, and we also support their caregivers. And a huge goal is to reduce the fears and anxiety that people have. I mean, as adults, if you've ever testified in a criminal court, it can be very anxiety producing, and we want the kids to understand what's happening and to advocate for the supports that the criminal code allows, so that they can go in. That's the role for the facility dog, by the way. They are allowed into the courts here, which has been a great support. And just to clarify that this is an education-based program, and there's no discussion of evidence. So now I come to where we are in terms of multi-languages. So we're very lucky. The Department of Justice Canada has funded Boost to do two key pieces. One is to organize an annual national CYAC meeting in Canada, and that started in 2017, and we'll have an annual meeting till 2022. And as Lola mentioned, to develop the webinar-based training program. So we started working with multi-languages in 2017. So I have to say that in terms of the national meetings, what multi-language provides, and I can't say it enough times, reduced or actually took away all anxiety or stress around arranging for interpretation and translation, because that's their expertise. It's certainly not mine or our staff. So for the national meetings, they provide translation of all materials. What's really nice is I can and often interact with the individual translator when they have questions, and I can be the go-between between them and the presenter, so it's easy to resolve any questions about the material. And multi-languages provide simultaneous on-site interpretation. We've had our national meetings in Toronto and Ottawa and in Montreal. They have looked after negotiating and arranging on-site services in both those cities, which obviously makes a huge difference to us. And I might add that I haven't had to ask for these perks, if you will. Lola and Sergio let us know up front. They offer, and they really do an amazing job helping us. The other project is the webinar series. And the purpose of this is to build capacity with CACs and CYCs across Canada. There's about 900 of these in the United States, and in Canada, there's 42 some are already open, some are in feasibility stage, some are in the development stage. And so through these webinars, we provide all of the organizations and the service providers, the MDT members, with resources, information, sharing the lessons that different CYCs have learned, so that we can really assist them with developing and operating an effective CYC. It's actually been such a popular series that it's gone out of the CYC community, which is amazing. So one of the things, a huge thing that multi-languages did for us, and this was Lola's offer. She said, you know, she asked, and who would say no? Certainly no one, I'm sure. Can I research platforms for you and see what I think would be the best platform? And it was like, sure, that'd be amazing. And she did her research. She sent a chart for me and ended up recommending Kudo. And in fact, we were the first agency in Canada to use Kudo, so we're very pleased about that. They organize how we're going to get the presenters' PowerPoints translated. Our webinars are simultaneously interpreted in French or English, which, for those of you who don't know, there are 2 official languages in Canada, English and French. This has also been incredibly helpful at the national meeting, especially in Montreal, because many of our presenters feel much more comfortable speaking in French, so we were able to have more presentations in French, which was great. And all of the webinars are recorded and posted on our YouTube station, as well as the national CAC and CYAC website. Sergio has played an incredible role in helping with the technical pieces. He's a technical wizard. And the other piece that he really helps with, and again, these are all what I say are perks. I never would have expected something like this. He's helped us design how to advertise the webinars, how to communicate with our users. And so once again, it's runs very smoothly and allays a lot of potential anxiety. So to give you an idea of where we're at, we've aired 34 webinars. We have 28 more planned. We have over 1,200 people registered, and that doesn't include our staff and our multidisciplinary team members. We've had over 1,500 live participants, and just from our YouTube station to date, there have been over 3,800 views. Many in English and many in French, so you can see that having it in both languages has been incredibly helpful. And I do want to emphasize, I know that child abuse was mentioned already. We had a national CYAC call recently, and all of us who work in this field are very deeply concerned about the abuse of children during this time and the increase in family violence, because there are so many stresses associated with COVID-19. And children who normally have access to a protective adult in schools and childcare centers, neighbors, friends, where they confide in their friends' parents, kids have lost all of this during COVID-19. And so because of our partnership with Multi-Languages and Kudo, we are able to continue with our webinar series and in order to provide really important information. And that includes actually some strategies and information related specifically to COVID-19. So that's what I have to say today.
Thank you so much, Pearl. And it is, really a pleasure working with you and supporting organizations that have this kind of mandate that it's basically, changing people's lives. And especially now, like it is a big challenge for more vulnerable populations. So thank you.